Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you doing? Well, I appreciate everybody watching the last video I put up on the bait casting setups as I broke them down for the for the winter, which I guess is here. So today I was just kind of taking all my spinning stuff apart. So I have like 10 of my setups that I was using. I don't throw spinning as much as I throw casting setups during the heart of the season. I tend to throw the spinning stuff more at the beginning of the season, and in the fall. Even though this summer, I probably threw the Ned and the drop shot more than I've thrown it in a lot in recent years during the summer months. But let me just show you a few of the setups I have here and some of the reels and rods that I've been using. Let's see. This is just one of the Ardent. Whenever you see a blue rod, I show you. This is just the Ardent spinning medium 7-footer. I kind of use this one. Since I've gotten as my, when I throw a popper, I throw it on a spinning setup, and this is kind of the one I've always used for that since I've gotten it. And I was using it when I was throwing a popper, and this is just like 10-pound mono. This is one of the newer Ardent Ignite 3000 series. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope that shows up. But it's their Ignite series. This is their new spinning reel, which is nice. And I got a couple of them this season. I've been going more to that 3000 or bigger size the last few years. I have a lot of 2500 size reels, which are fine, but I wanted to kind of go to these bigger size spools. So that's kind of my top water for a popper, or a small, any type of small top water bait. If I'm not throwing, braid like with a frog or, a buzz bait or something, or if I'm throwing just heavy mono. But that's kind of the setup I have for that. So that's one of those. That's a nice spinning reel if you're looking for one from Ardent Ignite. And this is another one I have. I think that has it's either 6 or 8 pound fluoro on it. Usually I'll put the tabs on there with the weight of the test, but sometimes I forget. There's another one there. And I got 2 of those that I've used throughout the year for different things. Let's see, this next rod here. This is that, you guys saw my video on the FX Extreme Angler Series rods. This is my favorite jerkbait rod. This is also a 7-foot, I believe 7-foot medium. This I bought 2 years ago at the outdoor show from FX. It's my #1 jerkbait rod. As you know, I throw a jerkbait on spinning, and this is the one I use. This is kind of what I'll throw my 110s on. My Berkeley Stun is on. Any of your, standard jerk baits, I'm usually throwing on this 8-pound line. I don't usually go up to 10 for this one, but I'll stick with 8-pound line, and I'm usually gonna match that up with one of the Ardent Sea-Force spinning reels, which I like a lot. These are nice too. So if the Sea-Force from Ardent is a really nice spinning. I got a couple of them right here. Use them for different things, but they usually have either 8, like this feels like 8. I think I might have one with 6. These feel more like 8, but it's a good setup for that, and that's what I use my jerk baits for. Let's see. These rods are kind of mixed up, so I might. And guys, I talked about Enigma. They did have the nice Ipon series rods. I do have a couple. This one is, I think it's a 7, what if I can find the info on it? Oh, there it is. This is a 7.1 medium. And I usually use this for like I'm dragging a tube, small tubes, maybe throwing the Ned. I do have another one there I use the Ned more for. But this is a medium extra fast action rod. I don't know what they're making still. As I said, I think Enigma's going out of business. I'm not sure. As I said, it's kind of hard to get in touch with them lately. So, but these are nice rods. I wish they still were around. I wish they still made them, but that's the Ipon series rod from Enigma. I know everything is backwards here when you guys look at it, but that's one of my, finessey rods. And I also have another one from them, which tends to be, this is a 6.9 medium light. I'll either use this for drop shotting or like throwing a Ned. Something very light. This is kind of light stuff here. Maybe if I'm going to throw a spy bait, which I rarely do, I might use this rod. But this is just another of that Ipon series rods from Enigma. I wish I could tell you could go out and get them. I don't know what they have left, if they are going out of business, what they're still selling. I haven't looked at the site lately, but they're nice rods. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to be around anymore. And I usually will have them on one of these C-Forces. Maybe, you know, this guy, the other Ardent there. I did get this. This is one of my favorite reels. This is the Fluger. And I think this one is the Supreme. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is the Fluger Supreme. And this rod reel broke this year. The bail broke, and I just got it back from Joe at Granite State Rod and Reel Repair, and he fixed the bail for me. So I haven't put any new line on it for the season because it was kind of towards the end of the year. So this is one of my favorite reels. I really like this reel. I think it's a 3500. It's the SUP XT SP 35. So I think it's a 3500 series rod or reel, sorry. But these are really nice. I do like the Fluger reels. I do have a few here. A couple of the Presidents. He just fixed one of these other Presidents for me that the bail was messed up. So I get that back. I'll have that back in the rotation next year. But a couple of Presidents there from Fluger, which I like. And that's like for, you know, lighter stuff. As I said, those Ipon rods, you know, the light stuff, Neds, things like that. Let's see what's over here. This is my main, I have two main drop shot rods. This is my good old All-Star, the Team All-Star. This is a 6.9 medium fast, and this was listed as their drop shot rod that I bought way back in the day. And these rods are really dirty. they need to be cleaned up. But this is my main drop shot rod. So when I'm drop shotting, I have two setups. That one, and somebody bought me this Veritas. I don't remember when I got it. Then I know I got it as a gift, and it's a two-piecer, which I never buy anymore. But it's a nice rod, and I was just using it as another backup drop shot rod. I prefer one piece, obviously, but someone bought it for me as a present, so what the heck, I'll use it. It's in good shape. It's pretty much new. And I was like, I'm not going to use that two-piece rod, but I started using it drop shotting this year, and it's fine. And I usually have two drop shot setups. I'll have one, you know, your traditional, you know, drop shot hook, and then if I do the bigger style hooks, the Robo Worm hooks, when I have them with one of their, I don't know if I didn't have a bait on it, just had the hook. That I'll kind of put on the, if I'm going to Texas rig them, with those rebarb hooks from you guys can see that. It's hard to see. The rebarb hooks from Robo Worm. If I'm using their worms and I'm Texas rigging, I'll use that other setup. Last summer, both were great. Both were great. I caught more fish in a drop shot last summer than I had in a long time. Let's see. And usually for the drop shotting, I'll use, like, I did get a couple of these. Enigma was having a big sale on these Valkyrie 3000 series spinning reels last, I guess it was last summer, maybe last winter, and I picked up two of them. They were like dirt cheap, and I was like, okay, good way to stock up on some reels. So I've been using these for drop shotting. Usually I'm drop shotting 6-8 pound line, so light line. Or, you know, I could use one of these, one of my C-Forces, one of the Flugers would be fine. Really, even the bigger Ardent, you know, 3000 series reel is what I want for that. Just seems to work better. Let's see, and this is the only other different type. This is a Fenwick. This is an old Fenwick Elite Tech I got years ago. It's a 6.9 medium, and it's a really good finessey rod that I use, like, if I'm going to throw, like, I was throwing the Spark Shad. I was throwing the Spark Shad on that this year. I'll throw these small swim baits on it, like that slow flow I'll throw on there. Anything small swim bait, like these like little 3.3 Kitechs, I just slow roll it. Or if I even want to go really light, I'll throw like the hover rig. I usually use the hover rig on one of those other rods, like that that Enigma rod, but another finesse setup that I use this year a lot. And then the last three here, well, this one here, this is an Abu Garcia, and this was the Revo X combo I got years ago. I think this is a it's either a 7 foot or 7.3. To me, a 7 foot medium spinning rod is pretty much will cover anything you want to do. And this was a Revo, this was a Revo combo they were selling years ago on the Pure Fishing site, and I grabbed it with the Revo reel, and this is kind of my fluke setup. It's kind of been my fluke setup for a while. Sometimes I'll use these in a jerkbait setup if I want to, maybe if I mess the line up on one and I need another jerkbait setup. But it's a nice combo, that Revo with that reel and that rod. I don't know if they still sell that combo or make it, but it's kind of nice. And the last two are just, this kind of became, and you can see one is old and one's a little newer. The Veritas 7-foot medium kind of became my jerkbait rod of choice a few years back. And they're moderately priced. I have gone through a lot of them. I've got 2 left. I had another one that broke on me. But you saw that other Veritas. That's kind of like what they look like now. I'd like to get another one for a jerkbait setup, because I like to have, at this point, I mean, I used to kind of be the person who just kind of had one jerkbait setup, but I've kind of progressed in that area. Now I've been using, these are, Ardent makes these Arrow spinning reels, which are super cheap, and they work fine. So if you're looking for a real cheap option for a spinning setup, these Arrows are, I haven't had a problem with these in 2 years that I've had them, and they've been great. So usually I'm using one of the C-Forces, like for my, let's say my 110s, my stunners, whatever. When I get to the bigger baits, like if I'm gonna throw, like usually I'll have one set up with 6-pound line for the light, for the junior sizes, even at the +1. But if it's the junior size, the small Dual Realis jerkbaits I throw, if I'm going to throw a finesse jerkbait, I'll have one of these set up with 6-pound fluoro. And on another one, I'll put 10-pound fluoro, and that's for, like, if I'm going to throw the +2, even maybe the +1. Usually the +1, I can get it. I'm kind of going with 8-pound on that still. But the +2, the Canadas, if I'm going to throw a big jerkbait, that Smithwick Perfect 10, and I want a little heavier line, I'm going to go up to 10-pound fluoro for that. And I don't use any leaders. I don't believe in leaders. They are a pain in the butt to tie. I don't think I have any problem. Sure, I get some line twists with my fluoro, but it's just part of the game. It's not so bad that I can't handle it. I use a lot of line conditioner throughout the year. If the line gets so bad, I'll just change it. But I haven't had any problems with straight fluoro at all. Sure, you get some line twist, but what kind of line can you throw and not get line twist in it when you're using spinning? It's part of the game. So I change a couple here and there if they get bunged up and I have to change them. That's fine. It's never a bad thing to put new line on. But I don't do any leaders. Everything's straight fluoro or straight mono. I don't really have any setups here with braid on them. But these Arrows are, I mean, for the price, it's really a good deal. So I've been kind of using them, one for bigger jerkbaits, one for the smaller finesse ones, and I've kind of had this one, the C-Force has kind of been for my just traditional, the one I'm throwing most of the time, usually is just like a 100, or I'm sorry, 110 or stunner, or whatever, rogues I'm throwing, anything like that. But that's really kind of my setups there, guys. As I said, I usually have, on a typical day of fishing in the spring, I'll have a couple jerkbait setups going. I'll have a Ned set up, maybe a tube, and then, a finesse swim bait. Other than that, as far as, spinnerbait setups, that's kind of it. I'll throw the hover rig, mix that in to the arsenal. I'll mix in the drop shot. I don't really throw the drop shot in the spring very much. I kind of wait, kind of for that water to warm up for a drop shot. But, I don't know, the drop shot was so good for me this past year that I may even get that going earlier next year. But that's it, guys. So my spinning reels are not overly expensive. The rods that I showed you are not overly expensive. None of this stuff would break the bank, especially if you're like a pro staff for Ardent. You get this stuff very reasonably priced. I mean, the Arrow is super cheap. I like I like this Abu Garcia. I have other reels that even bait casters that I could have been here all day if I showed you all the bait casters I had, and I have a ton of other excuse me, 2500 series reels and maybe some 3000s that are in there. But I like the Flugers. They're good and they're not overly expensive. So really, it's really how much you want to spend, and how much you're willing to spend on stuff. But, I kind of have a lot of the Ardent stuff. I have some of the Enigma stuff, which unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to get anymore. And every now and then I'll buy a Fluger or an Abu. If there's a spinning reel that I see that I like, I'll give it a try. I have a few other, I have some Daiwas in there. I have some other ones, some older ones I haven't used in a few years, but that's kind of my setups, guys. So any questions on this stuff, let me know. But as far as spinning setups go, I'm always going to have that jerkbait going. I'll have some kind of Ned going, some kind of drop shot. As I said, I like to throw a pop bar on a spinning setup. I can chuck it a mile on like 10-pound mono. And then I just have my finesse stuff for these, slow flows and Kitex and whatever swim bait you're throwing, which is, if I do get out again, I've been spending the last few days getting some of the ice and snow off the driveway that fell while I was gone for Thanksgiving. So, and there might be snow in my area tomorrow night. Is Wednesday, tomorrow night. So we might get another couple inches. So everything I got rid of will probably come back. But the season is probably over. We'll see. If it warms up and gets mild, maybe I'll go over the river. If I can actually launch, we'll see. But my guess is it's probably going to be, the season's probably going to be over. So it's time to organize the tackle room and break all this stuff down and clean everything up. And so I'll get like I told you guys with the bait casters, I'll get the Ardent reel treatment out, clean them up. I showed you the rod treatment. I'll clean the rods up with that. This is the other reel clean, and just get all that grime off there. If I have any that are, not working, I'll send them out. But really, the only two spinning reels I had with the bails were messed up. When the bail breaks on the inside and it's just flopping there. I just brought it down to Joe at Garden State Rod and Reel. He's down in, I think, is it Nashua? I forget. He's about an hour and 10 minutes from me. So whenever I have to go to Lowe's, I'll stop by him and drop stuff off or pick stuff up, check his store out. He's got a nice tackle shop too, which is always fun to look at. Look at all the cool baits. But that's it, guys. So any questions on any of this stuff, let me know. As I said, this is all very moderately priced equipment. This is not high-end by any means. Very reasonably priced rods, very reasonably priced spinning setup, so you don't have to break the bank to have stuff that'll work well for you. That's it, guys. So any questions, let me know. Please like and share the video. If you're new to my channel, how you doing? I'm Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing, and welcome to the channel, so please subscribe. So I will see you guys soon on YouTube. Mark out.